Welcome to another episode of Aslan Speaks. Today I want to talk about a silver lining. I was inspired to talk about this because it's from one of my favorite movies. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that movie, Silver Lining, I might give out a little spoiler alert there. But it's about a man who has some type of struggle in his life, and he kind of loses it, and he kind of loses himself, and he focuses on like the negative part of what happened to him. But in the end, something magical happens to him. And so, guys, so I want to talk about a silver lining. There's hope. What is the silver lining? That at the end of the day, that in the clouds somewhere, in the clouds, there's always a silver lining in life. That for any bad situation or something negative happening to you, that there is hope. There's hope, my friends. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. You know, in the Bible, Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters, and he restores my soul. And a lot of people don't get the meaning of that message. And he lays me down beside green pastures, meaning sometimes God or Spirit has to break us down, bring us to our lowest moments in life. Then he leads us he leads us by still waters, meaning he leads us to healing. He breaks us down. He breaks us down first, because sometimes we don't listen. In our lives, sometimes we, God or Spirit, or the higher powers to be, shows you signs. Maybe shows you those red flags in life. Or through synchronicities, it tells you, hey, this is not right for you, or you're walking down the path of destruction. And some of us, or our inner knowing, our intuition tells us, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. And we ignore those signs, we ignore those synchronicities, and then we ended up going down the rabbit hole, so to speak. So sometimes the Lord has to break us down. We have to hit rock bottom, because we've been ignoring our intuition. We've been ignoring those red flags. We've been ignoring, like I said, our inner knowing, and sometimes, so he has to break us down in life. Sometimes we cause ourselves to break down. And then he leads us besides quiet waters. He leads us to healing. And then he restores our soul. He guides us in the path of righteousness. And that means he breaks us down. Then we start to heal, and then he leads us to the path, restores our soul, or restores our spirit, restores our true self, or our inner self, and guides us in the path of righteousness. And I love that verse, because in life, we've all had moments where we hit rock bottom, or we've had situations happen to us in our lives that we felt so lost or so broken. A lot of it could be dealt with heartbreak. I'm inspired because I just got over dealing with heartbreak. When you truly love someone and you think you're going to spend the rest of your life with somebody, or you're going to grow with somebody, and then the world has different plans for you, it's tough. It's very tough to deal with. But there's a silver lining in life. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys out there. There's hope. And you got to look at, instead of dwelling on the sadness, or maybe a certain person makes you sad, or maybe something happened to you in your life, makes you sad or depressed or filled with anxiety or you feel hurt, there's a silver lining. Look for the silver lining. Sometimes like a tree, like during the seasons, it starts off nice and beautiful with its leaves, and then the winter comes and it gets cold and it loses all its leaves. But then when it's restored again, when it's summer again or spring, the leaves come back and that tree's beautiful again. And so when we are put in a bad situation, or maybe we enter into a toxic relationship, we got to look at the silver lining. Don't focus on the negative part of it. And it's easy to get lost in the negativity. It's easy to be like, this person hurt me, or this situation was so bad in my life that I can't function no more, or I lost myself. But you got to look at the growth that you could gain from it. I talk about certain people enter our lives as catalysts. They enter in our lives to, because I believe that there's destiny involved. I'm a very spiritual person, and sometimes people are brought into our lives as catalysts, to teach us something that teach us some form of life lesson. Some people enter our lives to better our lives, to teach us how to become the better versions of ourselves. And let's face it, we might be on a path that we don't want to listen. We ignore that. We may have that amazing friend or that amazing partner in our life that all they want is to care and love for you and help you grow, but you're so busy, lost on the path that you're on, that you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. You're still lost in the darkness, and you're pursuing the darkness, so to speak, of, whatever it may be. And there's also people in our lives that who are not or might not be a positive change in our lives, but are a negative change, or basically they come in our lives to bring out the worst in us in order for us to find the good in ourselves. And I want you guys to just think about all the people that came into your life. A lot of, and I've reflected on like some of my past partners or past friends. A lot of them acted as catalysts, and that's how I look at it. I look at this for the silver lining, the positivity. What did I learn? When I entered a certain relationship, I learned, hey, certain traits or certain things in this relationship in my life, I don't want a partner who does this, and this. But then I've had good partners who I'm like, hey, I want this, and this. I've had partners who never really loved me. They were just with me for, I don't know why. Like maybe I was a piece of meat or I was just a trophy on their arm. But then there was people or partners in my life who were very uplifting, very loving, very caring. And sometimes, like I said, God or the universe has to break us down. We have to hit rock bottom. And the people that enter our lives, like maybe something, because everything's like cause and effect. Maybe you did something in your life that wasn't so good, that caused a chain reaction that led to something bad, but then in the end it turns into something good. The silver lining. At the end of the day, everyone uses the expression, when it's rainy and cloudy and gloomy out, when it's thundering and lightning and the storm is hitting us, the storm of life, it's only temporary, because the sun comes out. Maybe it's the next day that sun comes out, it peeks through the clouds and it shines so bright on your life, or it shines the light within you. And all is not lost. We got to look at our situations in life and reflect on it and look at, like, even if it's a bad one, yes, it's tough dealing with a breakup. It's tough losing somebody you love, somebody you cared for. It's tough losing a job that maybe you enjoyed. But look at it as maybe there's a silver lining, that maybe you weren't meant to be with that person, or maybe you weren't meant to be at that job. And you got to look at it as maybe that happened to you to catapult you in a new direction in life, to help you achieve the greatest version of yourself. I'm very artistic. I'm very spiritual. And some of the hurt and pain that I felt in my life or dealt with in my life, I use it as a tool. Instead of letting it control me and make me be a miserable, sad, depressed person who lays on his couch all day, I use that hurt and pain and I turn it into art. Like I'll paint a painting, or I'll write a book. You know, and for those who don't know me, I'm an author of the Hidden Knowledge series on Amazon, and a lot of, I recommend those books if you're feeling lost in life, or you want to learn more about spirituality or metaphysics, or how to become your higher self. Check out my books. They're called Hidden Knowledge Gained Wisdom, Hidden Knowledge Gained Insight, and Hidden Knowledge Path to the Divine. And a lot of some of my worst moments in life I share in those books, but I also share the most positive, powerful moments in my life that really changed my life. And I talk about certain parts of those books. I talk about certain people who were the catalysts in my life, but I had to go through that pain. I had to get broken down and hit rock bottom in order to grow and evolve to become my greatest self, to become a more powerful me. Because like when you take steel, some of the strongest steel is bent and hammered over and over again, heated up, hammered, bent over and over again, and then becomes the strongest steel. Or when you break a bone, when it breaks, but then it grows back stronger. And we got to look at that silver lining. You're going to come back stronger, my friends. For anybody who's dealing with any struggle in their life, or feel like all is lost, it's not. You're going to come back stronger. You're going to come back better. You're going to become your best self. And then you can learn. Then you learn through those catalysts in your life, those bad situations. Hey, I made this choice or that choice in the past and it put me in a bad situation. Or I chose this type of partner in the past and it ended up being a bad relationship. And then you can look at it as, I've learned from those mistakes and I'm going to choose better. I'm going to choose better decisions. Maybe I'll choose a better career. I'll choose a better partner. So all is not lost. There's hope. There's that silver lining. The sun comes out, guys, and shines. And you can't let it defeat you. Never give up, never surrender. I have days where I feel defeated. We're human, we're flawed. But never give up, never surrender. It's very positive, and even though I have days, where I feel defeated, I feel broken, I feel unloved, I feel unhappy, then I tell myself, why am I feeling these things? I'm so blessed. I wake up and the sun's out. I have family members who love me. I have friends who love me. All is not lost. Find that silver lining, and when you become the best version of yourselves, because sometimes, like I talk about that Bible verse, our ship is steered off course. Some of us, if you believe in spirituality, we come into this earth, or reincarnate we pick our family, and we pick the people through soul contracts to enter in our lives at certain times. We pick those catalyst moments. Maybe it's a twin flame relationship or a soulmate connection. At a higher level, we picked, before we entered into this incarnation or into this life, we picked certain people to come into our lives. And certain people steer us on a path that is really wavy and leads us basically to a path where our ship is gonna crash into the rocks. But then there's people that come into our lives that see, who are caring and loving and genuinely care about you, who see that your ship is going to steer into those rocks. And then, like an act of God, they through some type of event or situation or something they say to you, they help you steer your ship away from those rocks, out of that stormy, wavy water into calmer seas. So find the silver lining. Find the person that steers your ship into the calm water. It's hard to do life by yourself sometimes, guys. You sometimes you need that person in your life to lean up on. Sometimes you need that person in your life to lean up on. But some of us, we're so blind. Sometimes we're too stubborn and we can't get out of our own way. Or we haven't grown or matured enough, to see certain things as for what they are. And when I was younger, I was blind, I was immature, I was prideful, and I made bad decisions. Some of those decisions where I pushed people away, where I should have kept them in my life. But also I made some good decisions because there were certain people in my life that weren't helping me become my highest self. They were steering me towards the rocks, steering my ship towards the rocks. And luckily for me, by a lot of it was act of God or spirit or whatever you want to call it, intervening in my life and some of those moments I had to get myself broken down. I had to hit rock bottom to learn and then I had to heal myself, learn my life lessons, and then I restored my soul, restored my spirit, and I moved forward in life better and better. And I went through many, many, many uphill battles in my life, many rock bottom moments in my life. And when I was younger, it was horrible to deal with, to be honest. It was very sad. It was very depressing. But as I grew, I learned to reflect on the catalysts or the situations in my life that put me in those moments where I hit rock bottom. And I had to learn from those. And sadly, some people don't want to learn from their bad mistakes. They make the same repeating cycle. So if there's any repeating pattern in your life, reflect on it. Reflect on it. Like, why is this situation always happening to me over and over? And then be like, maybe it's because it's me. You're the denominator in the equation. You're making bad decisions or bad actions. But there's hope. There's that silver lining, my friends. You gotta stay positive and then learn to grow and evolve. Because sometimes that when you get lost in the darkness, there is that light at the end of the tunnel that guides you to something amazing. Maybe you're not meant to be with a certain person that you thought you loved and cared for, and by going through that heartache and breakup, it leads you to find someone who is meant for you. Leads you to your soulmate or your twin flame or that divine connection with somebody. Or maybe, you had a divine connection with somebody, a really deep, heartfelt connection with somebody, and you made a bad decision, and then you had to hit rock bottom, and then through looking back, you realize through the silver lining that, hey, that person was my sunshine on a cloudy day. And I use that song, "You're my sunshine on a cloudy day," as there's some truth to that. So all is not lost, my friends. Find that silver lining. Stay positive and learn to grow and heal. And if you're in that moment in your life where you feel all is lost and you feel like you hit rock bottom, it's not over. You can always steer your ship from crashing into the rocks into that calm water. When it's raining and gloomy outside, just know the sun's going to shine. And you could choose through your thoughts and actions if it's going to be gloomy or sunny. I try to look at, when I catch myself, if I'm feeling gloomy and dark and, like those days where I feel like sad or depressed, I try to change my thinking, my attitude, my outlook. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to choose to be sunny today. I'm going to let my sun, my inner light shine in this world. And that's what some of us who are very spiritual are meant to do. Some of us in this world, we intuit, or our inner knowing is saying that, hey, I don't fit into this world. Well, some of us reincarnate into this world as, some call us angels. In the spiritual term, it's Lightworker, or we're angels on this earth. And we're meant to deal with all this darkness, because what it does is it catapults us to our inner light. And then we let our inner light shine on the world. And then we become like a lighthouse guiding other people. That's what I do. I don't know. I've always been the person people come to turn to in their life, or in their darkest moments, they come to me. And I shine a light. Sometimes they don't like it. Some people don't like it because I could see through, I see that they're a beautiful soul, but I can also see that they're steering their ship in life towards those rocks. And I'll call them out on it, and I do it out of a loving way. And sometimes it drives them away. They push people away because they don't want to hear the truth. The truth is hard to hear. If I care and love for you, though, I'm going to do everything in my power, even if it leads to a falling apart or falling out of friendship, if I can save your life or help you steer your ship from crashing into the rocks. I want to be that light that shines so bright that you can't escape it, so that I can help you grow as a human being. That's what happened to me. A lot of the catalysts in my life. I've had really good people who told me, hey, you're going down this path, or the decisions you're making, I don't agree with, and you should do this. And when I was younger, when I was prideful, when I was blinded, I couldn't see with spiritual vision, or see with spiritual, or hear with spiritual ears, I tuned them out. I didn't want to hear that. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I was very prideful. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, that's, to make steel, a really strong steel, it gets heated up, it gets hammered down, it gets bent over and over again until it becomes so strong that nothing could bend it. So say this to yourselves: they may bend me, but I will never break. They may bend me, but I will never break. And then become your best self. It's easier said than done. It's, you gotta look at those catalysts in your life. Like, I've had people like that were really bad and toxic for me, and then I've also had yin and yang. They were, kind of toxic because they haven't done their own spiritual work or inner healing yet. But I did feel a very divine spiritual connection with them, a heartfelt connection. And it was very magical at times. But also, before I go, you gotta learn to, when you're going through problems in your life, and those catalysts enter your life. Some people, are gonna lead you. If they're drowning, if they steer their ship into the rocks and crash and they're drowning, sometimes those people, you allow certain people in your life who are drowning, and they reach out to you for a lifeline, and then they pull you down too. And you have to look at yourself and be like, and when you do the inner work on yourself and the inner healing, you got to recognize, hey, they're pulling me down to the abyss. If I go try to save them, I'm going to drown with them. And sometimes you got to let people drown. You got to let them hit rock bottom. And then you got to work and heal on yourself. You got to find that silver lining, that sunny day. And then, you know, like sometimes all is not lost. Sometimes people hit rock bottom. You got to let them go for a little bit. You got to let them find themselves. And then when they do the inner healing, or, you know, choose the right path, and maybe you realign and you could come back together in a positive, loving way. But if, so, you know, like two broken hearts don't fit together, because this broken heart's broken a certain way and this broken heart is broken a certain way. When you try to force them together, it doesn't cohere, it doesn't align. But a healed heart and another healed heart, a healed human, another healed human, they could come together and they fit in unison. Their puzzle pieces match. So find that silver lining. All is not lost, my friends. Positivity, you know, and the sun comes out, it shines. You know, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. Hold on, I gotta memorize this here. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the path of righteousness. Meaning, we get in life, we have situations and struggles that break us down, but then it leads to our healing, restores our soul, and leads us to the path of righteousness, to right decisions. And that's a magical thing, you know, and you gotta look at it like that. You know, when something bad happens, you'd be like, well, look at it. It's one of the hardest things to do, because you focus on the negative part, but like, what was the positive part of this situation? Maybe it taught me this life lesson. Maybe that negative situation led you to a positive situation, or that toxic relationship leads you to a loving relationship, or, you know, or certain person, you know, shine, you know, that, you know, where it's dark and gray out there, you know, and you're lost in that darkness, maybe there's that person, that lighthouse that shines the light, that shows you the path. But it's up to you to make that decision. Do you know, see that light at the end of the tunnel and choose to walk down that light, you know, follow the light, you know, and, you know, become your greatest self? You know, you become the sunshine of your life, or you turn your back on it and you walk and you choose to continue down the opposite part of the dark tunnel into the abyss of more darkness. You know, it's up to you. But all is not lost. Stay positive, my friends. I love you guys. You know, I send you my love. I send you light. You know, and I send you positivity, and then put your you know, your hurt and pain into, instead of letting it fester inside you, you put it, you know, take it out of you. You know, create artwork. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a writer. You know, write a poem, write a book. Do something positive, you know, take that hurt and pain inside you and do something positive with it. Be a lighthouse unto other people. Shine so bright that, you know, that you just, you know, you're that sunshine. Every cloud has a silver lining. God bless you, my friends. Oh yeah, like, share, and subscribe.